Chosen one, when the clock turned to October 9th, heaven didn't just change the date, it changed dimensions. The world may look the same, but in the invisible realm, something shifted. The air grew heavier, time slowed for a moment, and your spirit felt it, a strange calm, a quiet stirring deep inside. That wasn't a coincidence. It was the sound of heaven moving, the whisper of God reaching for those who have endured storms, kept the faith, and still believe even when nothing made sense. This day isn't ordinary. October 9th is not just another mark on the calendar, it's a spiritual checkpoint, written into the blueprint of your destiny before you were even born. Heaven paused for you today. It's as if the divine clock stopped, waiting for your soul to answer a question. Will you listen this time? You felt it all week, the sleepless nights, the sudden waves of emotion, the still moments that seemed to pull you inward. That was heaven's signal, aligning your heartbeat with its rhythm. Silence on earth never means silence in heaven. When everything around you slows down, it's because something in the unseen world has begun to move. Look closely at the signs, the thoughts that wouldn't leave you, the dreams that felt too real, the gentle nudges in your spirit. These are not random. They are coordinates, divine breadcrumbs leading you back to the center of your purpose. You weren't imagining it. You were being summoned. Right now, heaven is opening your record, not to judge you, but to activate you. The call has been sent, and your spirit has already answered. Before the hands of the clock reach 11:11 tonight, a decision must be made in the invisible realm. This isn't fear, it's an invitation. You are not being warned, you are being remembered. The timing isn't against you, it's working for you. And if your heart is racing as you read this, know this truth. You have just stepped into the hour heaven chose to awaken you. Chosen one. You were not selected because life was easy for you. You were chosen because you survived what should have broken you. Every storm you walked through, every betrayal you endured, every moment you cried in silence, heaven recorded it. The world saw pain, but heaven saw process. You were being refined, not rejected. The fire that surrounded you was never meant to destroy you. It was meant to reveal what cannot be burned away, your faith, your endurance, your anointing. You've been through seasons that made no sense. People walked away when you needed them most. Doors closed that you thought were promised. You prayed and nothing seemed to happen. But every unanswered prayer was a brick in the foundation of your calling. You weren't forgotten, you were being forged. The delay was not punishment, it was preparation. The silence was not abandonment, it was alignment. God was not withholding. He was teaching you to see beyond the visible, to hear his voice even when everything else went quiet. There were times you questioned your worth, wondering why the blessings of others seemed to come easily while yours demanded a fight. You didn't realize that the greater the calling, the greater the refining. Gold doesn't complain about the fire because it knows the heat is proof of its value. Every tear you shed became oil for your future. Every disappointment was heaven rearranging the path ahead. And through it all, you remained. You didn't lose your compassion. You didn't let bitterness take root. You kept believing, even when your heart was breaking. That endurance became the signature of the chosen, because being chosen doesn't mean being comfortable, it means being trusted. God trusted you with hardship because he knew it wouldn't destroy you, it would define you. Now, heaven is saying, it's time. The same fire that once tested you will now illuminate you. The same places where you were ignored will call for your presence. The same voices that doubted you will have to witness your rising. You are not the same as before. You carry the scent of survival and the authority of someone who has walked with God through the fire and came out gold. Chosen one. October 9th is not an ordinary date. It is not simply another turn of the calendar or a coincidence of timing. It is a divine appointment, a moment carved out of eternity before the world even knew your name. Heaven circled this day long before you were born. In the archives of destiny, October 9th glows like gold ink on sacred parchment. This is the day when what was delayed begins to unfold, when invisible promises start taking form in the visible realm. Every chosen soul has a day of unveiling, and this is yours. What felt random, what looked like confusion, was always choreography. The detours, the pauses, the setbacks, they were not mistakes. They were coordinates leading you here. Even your pain had purpose, guiding your spirit toward this very threshold. You were never lost, you were being led. God was drawing the map backward so you could recognize his hand when the picture was finally complete. Heaven doesn't measure time the way humans do. To us, a day is 24 hours. To God, a day can be a turning point, a hinge of destiny. October 9th is that hinge. It is where one chapter closes without bitterness and another opens without fear. It's the intersection between endings and beginnings, between what has been refined and what is about to be revealed. The spiritual atmosphere around this day is not a coincidence, it is alignment. It is as if heaven itself leans closer, waiting to see how you will respond. Some may wake up today and feel nothing unusual, but you feel the weight of it. Your spirit knows this is not just another morning. There's a hum in the air, a quiet urgency pressing on your chest. That's because heaven's schedule has synchronized with yours. You are standing in the exact time zone of your purpose. And tonight, when 11:11 approaches, it won't just be a time, it will be a sign, a seal, a confirmation that your preparation has met its moment. October 9th was not chosen by chance, it was chosen for you. The day your delay expires, your calling ignites, and heaven's handwriting finally appears in the story of your life. Chosen one, when the clock nears 11:11 p.m., the universe itself holds its breath. This is not superstition, this is sacred science, divine mathematics written into the structure of time. The number 11. 11 is not a coincidence. It is a code of alignment, the signature of heaven stamped upon human clocks. When the hands meet in perfect symmetry, heaven records more than the hour, it records the state of your spirit. Do you understand the weight of this moment? At 11:11, heaven opens a gate, a narrow window where divine timing meets human readiness. It is not a time to scroll, to wander, or to sleep through the call. It is the hour of witnessing, the moment when angels take attendance and destinies are sealed. This is not a metaphor. It is an appointment. And you, chosen one, are on the list. Heaven doesn't operate in random patterns. Every number, every signal, every nudge you've felt this week has been building to this crescendo. 11. 11 is the echo of your original creation. The instant when your soul said yes to its divine purpose, long before your body ever took form. When this hour strikes, the spiritual registers update. God checks who is awake, who is aligned, and who is listening. It is not fear that moves heaven, it is frequency. If your spirit vibrates with obedience, heaven releases what has been withheld. Don't take this lightly. So many sleep through divine moments and then wonder why their lives feel delayed. But heaven does not wait for hesitation. When the gate opens, it stays open only for those ready to walk through. This is the moment when your past, your pain, and your preparation collide with destiny's design. A single minute in obedience can redeem years of confusion. When the world grows silent tonight, let your soul awaken. This is not the time for noise or distraction. It is time for surrender. The presence of God will not shout. It will descend softly, but with unmistakable power. You may feel it as warmth in your chest, as a stillness that overtakes fear, or as tears that fall without reason. Don't resist it. That's the gate opening. 11. 11 p.m. is not about numbers, it's about alignment. It's when heaven bends close enough for you to hear your name spoken in eternity. And if you respond, if you whisper, "I'm ready," the very air around you will shift, and the unseen will start rearranging itself to make room for your arrival. Tonight, heaven's clock and your destiny will strike the same second. Chosen one, you have waited long enough to understand that heaven's silence is not rejection, it is refinement. Every unanswered prayer, every season that felt frozen, every door that refused to open was not a sign that God forgot you, it was a sign that God was fortifying you. The pause wasn't punishment, it was protection. The delay wasn't absence, it was design. What looked like stillness was, in truth, divine surgery, the kind that cuts deeply but heals completely. You see, heaven doesn't rush masterpieces. God does not build empires overnight. When he hides you, it is not to waste you, it is to weigh you, to test your roots before he raises your branches. You were never waiting for the promise. The promise was waiting for you to mature enough to carry it. And now, that maturity has come. The weight of your faith has reached the frequency of fulfillment. Heaven has been watching you long enough to know you are ready. Remember the years when nothing made sense, when you watched others rise while you remained unseen. That was heaven's classroom. While you mourned opportunities, heaven was sharpening discernment. While you begged for platforms, heaven was teaching posture. While you prayed for arrival, heaven prepared your authority. What you called delay, heaven called training. Every time you thought you were losing, you were actually being aligned. God never wastes a wound. Each tear you shed became a seed in the soil of your calling. Every disappointment tilled the ground for revelation. Every heartbreak softened you, so your spirit could hear the whispers others missed. It was never for nothing. So if you find yourself looking back at the seasons that broke you, do not curse them, bless them. They built the strength that no applause could give. They purified your motives until only obedience remained. The fire you walked through was never your enemy. It was your initiation. The wilderness you thought would end you was where heaven met you face to face. Chosen one, you weren't being delayed, you were being designed. You were hidden because what you carry could not be rushed. And now, the same God who seemed silent is about to speak through the results of your endurance. The delay has expired. The testing phase is over. The silence is lifting. What was forming in secret will soon speak for itself. The waiting was never wasted, it was the womb of your becoming. The silence you have felt lately is not emptiness, it is activation. It is the hum of heaven tuning your spirit to its own frequency. Every pause, every quiet morning, every sleepless night has been a spiritual calibration, preparing you for what comes next. What feels like stillness is not stagnation, it is synchronization. God has been adjusting your rhythm so that, when the moment arrives, your spirit and heaven will move as one. There is a sacred science to this. Before every manifestation, there is a stillness. Before the wind moves, the air holds its breath. Before lightning strikes, the clouds pause. So too with your spirit. God has quieted the noise around you because divine communication requires silence. You cannot hear destiny whisper when chaos is screaming. That's why the distractions have faded, the people have withdrawn, and the world feels distant. It's not rejection, it's refinement of focus. Do you notice how your senses have sharpened? How does your heart feel things faster? How does your mind discern more deeply? That is the symptom of awakening. Heaven has been downloading instructions while you rested, speaking through subtle impressions, through patterns that seem small but echo eternity. You are not imagining it, you are receiving it. You are no longer reacting to the world, you are responding to the Spirit. The time for mere believing is ending. The time for becoming has begun. Faith is not just words, it is alignment. When heaven moves, you move. When the Spirit stirs, you respond. No more hesitation. No more analyzing miracles as if they were accidents. What's happening now is deliberate, mathematical, exact. You are standing inside divine geometry, where your obedience fits perfectly into heaven's design. The activation doesn't begin with thunder, it begins with surrender. When you stop forcing, stop fearing, and simply say, "Yes, Lord, I'm ready." That's when the switch flips. Power flows not to the proud, but to the available. The moment you yield, the current of heaven surges through you, igniting dormant gifts, awakening forgotten callings, resurrecting what the world thought was over. And as this happens, do not rush. Let it move through you like holy fire, cleansing, ordering, revealing. You are not being overwhelmed, you are being overwritten. The old frequency is fading, the new sound is forming. This is your alignment when heaven's voice and your heartbeat finally sound the same. The activation has begun, and the rest of your life will bear its evidence. Chosen one, there is movement in heaven tonight. The scrolls are being opened, the seals are being broken, and your name is being read aloud in the halls of eternity. The silence that once surrounded you is gone. The court of heaven is now in session. Instructions are being released, assignments, blessings, realignments, and this time, your name is on the decree. You are not forgotten in the background. You are the subject of discussion in divine rooms. This is not imagination. This is the order of heaven unfolding. Angels are moving fast, precise, unstoppable. They are rearranging circumstances, removing obstacles, rewriting connections. What you thought was a delay was simply logistics. Heaven has been organizing details that your human mind could never coordinate. The right people are being stirred, the right doors are unlocking, the right words are being spoken in places you've never stood. Heaven is literally making room for you. When God gives an order, creation obeys. Mountains shift, systems bend, and timing bows. And tonight, that order has been spoken. Release what was held, restore what was lost, reveal what was hidden. This is not poetic, it is legal. The highest court has ruled in your favor. Every force that tried to suppress you must now yield. Every chain that held you must break. The verdict has been sealed. You are released. Can you feel the atmosphere changing? It's subtle, but real. The air grows dense, as if charged with electricity. That's the presence of divine authority descending. The same power that raised Lazarus from the grave is now breathing over your life, calling dead things back to function. Lazarus, come forth, is not just history, it's your present. Every dormant dream, every silenced voice, every buried vision is hearing its name again. Chosen one, do not doubt the scale of this moment. Heaven is not whispering, it's declaring. You are not being asked, you are being commissioned. This is your induction into purpose, the point where your preparation becomes your assignment. You've been through fire, through silence, through refining, but now comes the command. So stand ready. Lift your head, align your spirit. The heavenly decree has gone forth, and nothing in the physical realm can stop what has already been authorized in the spiritual. You have been released to rise. The instruction has left the throne, and creation itself is now adjusting to obey it. Chosen one, something extraordinary happens when heaven moves. Time begins to bend. What once took years will now happen in weeks. What once demanded endless striving will now unfold effortlessly. This is not fantasy, it is divine acceleration. When God breathes on destiny, the pace of life changes. The natural timeline collapses under supernatural pressure. The slow becomes sudden. The delay becomes now. You are entering that moment. Heaven has shifted the gears. The same hands that held you still are now pushing you forward with divine speed. This is why the air feels different, why everything in your life seems to stir at once. The pace is quickening, not to overwhelm you, but to fulfill you. When God says, now, no earthly resistance can hold you in not yet. Acceleration is not chaos, it is orchestration. It may look fast, but it is perfectly timed. The people you need will appear right on schedule. The opportunities you thought you missed will reappear, redefined. The prayers you whispered years ago are returning as reality now. Heaven is catching you up to your own prophecy. You are not behind. You are being synchronized with divine speed. Do not mistake acceleration for pressure. Pressure is what the world gives. Acceleration is what heaven releases. Pressure drains you, acceleration lifts you. The difference is who's in control. In this season, you don't chase doors, they open. You don't chase people, they align. You don't chase success, it recognizes you. When God accelerates a life, He doesn't add burden, He adds momentum. This is why the warfare intensified before the shift. The enemy always panics before a breakthrough. When you felt everything around you shaking, friendships fading, plans collapsing, energy running low, it was because heaven was compressing timelines. The old structures couldn't survive the new speed. But you could. You endured long enough to outlast the waiting. Now, your name is being whispered in rooms you've never entered. Opportunities are being written into schedules you didn't even apply for. What once crawled is now flying. What once drained you now fuels you. You will feel this acceleration not as anxiety, but as assurance, the peace that comes when heaven takes the wheel. So don't resist it. Don't overthink the quickness of blessings that come. You've already been trained for this pace. The stillness of your past season prepared your balance for this movement. You can handle it. You were built for it. This is the rhythm of divine acceleration, a holy quickening where what took others a lifetime happens for you in a moment. Because grace doesn't move by clock, it moves by calling. And when your calling matures, time must obey it. Heaven is not making you wait any longer. The season of almost is over. The speed of God has begun. Chosen one. The winds are shifting again, not just around you, but within you. This moment is not only about what you will receive, it is about who you are becoming. The divine transfer that has begun is deeper than possessions, louder than opportunity, and stronger than wealth. It is the transfer of identity. God is not merely adding to your life, He is exchanging your old nature for your true one. For years, you saw blessings as something that came to you. Now, heaven reveals that you are the blessing. The anointing you carry is not a reward, it's a mantle. Every resource, every door, every connection that begins to flow towards you now is a reflection of that mantle. You are not attracting these things by luck, you are aligning with them by identity. The blessing belongs to the one who finally realizes they were created to carry it. This transfer began in silence when God started removing the false labels placed on you by failure, fear, and comparison. He stripped away the version of you that begged for approval, that measured worth by attention, that mistook delay for denial. That version could not survive the weight of what's coming. You are being reintroduced to yourself, the you heaven designed, the you who remembers that obedience is power, that surrender is strength, and that divine favor is not earned but inherited. The transfer is not only material. Yes, wealth will shift hands, influence will increase, and positions will change. But beneath all of that, a spiritual exchange is taking place. Heaven is exchanging your anxiety for authority, your confusion for clarity, your striving for stewardship. The more you surrender, the more power flows. The less you grasp, the more you receive. This is the paradox of divine inheritance. It doesn't come to those who chase it. It comes to those who are ready to embody it. Chosen one. This is your coronation in disguise. You are stepping into rooms you once only prayed about, speaking words that carry unseen weight. People will look and wonder how you arrived here, but those with discernment will know it was not talent, not connection, not strategy. It was a transfer. So walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You are no longer someone asking for a favor. You are someone walking into it. The mantle has fallen, the oil has been poured, the lineage has been confirmed. Heaven didn't promote you for comfort, it promoted you for command. The transfer is complete, and the identity that was once hidden is now fully alive within you. Chosen one. The air itself feels different, because you've reached the border of a new existence. The line between who you were and who you are becoming is right beneath your feet. You have walked for years toward this invisible threshold, guided by faith alone, and now the moment has come to cross it. This is not just a transition, it is a transformation. Once you step through, there is no return to the smaller version of yourself that survived on endurance instead of authority. Every destiny has a doorway, and this is yours. The resistance you've felt lately, the tension, the unease, the strange pressure on your spirit was not punishment. It was the pull of heaven trying to separate you from what cannot go with you. You cannot carry yesterday's patterns into tomorrow's atmosphere. Old fears, old labels, old agreements, they cannot breathe where you're going. The version of you that settled for almost is ending here. When heaven calls someone higher, it doesn't just lift them, it redefines them. The same voice that said, "Let there be light," now says, "Let there be you." The universe responds to that decree. The ground beneath you rearranges itself to support your new identity. That's why some relationships have dissolved and doors have closed. Heaven wasn't taking things from you. It was removing the scaffolding around a structure that can now stand on its own. You have been built. You have been proven. And now you are being revealed. This unveiling won't come with spectacle. It will come with certainty. You will begin to walk differently, not because you are trying to impress anyone, but because you are finally carrying yourself at your true height. The world may not recognize you at first. Even you may not recognize yourself. That's because this is not the upgraded you, it's the original you, the one heaven always saw while the world only saw fragments. Crossing this threshold is not about striving harder, it's about receiving identity fully. You are stepping into divine rhythm, where your presence will begin to shift rooms. Your words will carry weight, not because they're loud, but because they're anointed. You will notice that favor begins to find you instead of you chasing it. You won't have to fight to be seen. Heaven has already announced your arrival. Chosen one, this is your reintroduction to creation. The earth has been waiting for your sound, your movement, your light. Do not shrink back now. Do not apologize for the weight of glory you carry. Those who misunderstood you before will soon understand why God kept you hidden, because diamonds are not displayed before they're cut. You have been refined, and now you shine without trying. Step through the threshold. Do not look back. Everything that is meant for you is already waiting on the other side. You are not crossing into uncertainty. You are crossing into recognition. The earth is about to meet the real you, the one heaven always knew. Chosen one, the waiting season is over. The refining, the stillness, the silence, all of it has served its purpose. You have crossed the threshold. Now heaven demands motion. This is the hour not of observation but of activation. You can no longer stay hidden in humility that borders on fear. You have been trained in darkness, so you can shine without hesitation. The call has gone out across the heavens. Arise. To arise is not just to stand, it is to stand in authority. It is to walk as one who knows that the power resting upon them is not self-made but heaven-breathed. You have been entrusted with revelation, wisdom, and endurance for a reason. You are not here to fit in, you are here to fulfill. You are not called to echo, you are called to initiate. Every season that broke you was molding the backbone of a spiritual leader, one who doesn't need recognition to walk in power. Heaven's leaders are not crowned on stages, they are crowned in surrender. Do not mistake this next phase for comfort. Favor doesn't remove warfare, it redefines it. You will still face resistance, but it will no longer defeat you because now you fight for victory, not for it. Every challenge that arises is confirmation that your influence is expanding. When darkness pushes back, it's because your light has advanced too far for comfort, and every time you choose faith over fear, you establish new territory for heaven's kingdom on earth. So speak differently, pray differently. Think as one who commands, not one who pleads. You have permission to declare. You have the authority to restore. You have the power to reverse what the enemy tried to seal. You are not waiting for miracles. You are the vessel through which miracles will move. The world is not waiting for another hero. It's waiting for your obedience. Chosen one, Stop apologizing for divine weight. Stop hiding your strength to make others comfortable. Stop second-guessing what heaven has already confirmed. You have been validated by the only one whose voice matters. The moment you accept this, creation itself will begin to respond. Doors will open faster, people will recognize the oil upon you, and circumstances will bend to your decree. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. You are not boasting in yourself. You are boasting in the God who trusted you with this assignment, and that assignment is sacred. It requires presence, boldness, and unwavering faith. When you walk into a room, remember, you are not entering alone. Heaven enters with you. The time of hesitation has ended. The hour of demonstration has begun. Step forward with conviction, because heaven does not repeat itself, it releases. You are that release, the living proof that divine power still walks in human form. So arise, chosen one. Heaven has already stood on your behalf. Now it's your turn to stand for heaven. Chosen one, the hour draws near. The world grows still as the clock moves toward 11:11 p.m., the sacred intersection where heaven and earth quietly touch. This isn't just another night. It is a threshold disguised as time. The air carries an electric calm. Angels are gathering in unseen ranks, and your spirit begins to tremble with recognition. You can feel it deep inside, a quiet knowing that this moment was written long before you were born. At 11:11, heaven doesn't seek perfection. It seeks permission. God isn't asking you to perform. He's asking you to be present, to stop striving, to stop explaining, and simply to allow. This hour is not about proving your worth, it's about remembering that you've always belonged. You were never working for his approval. You've carried his signature since the beginning. Tonight, that truth is being sealed. Heaven presses its imprint upon your spirit, permanent, visible to angels, unstoppable by man. Close your eyes. Let the noise fade until only your heartbeat remains. That rhythm you hear isn't just yours, it's heaven's pulse resonating within you. Breathe slowly, and let your soul remember. You were never unseen. Every moment of silence was recorded. Every tear you shed was counted. Every delay was divine precision, aligning your timeline with heaven's. You are not late. You are right on time. Now, speak this prayer not as someone pleading for favor, but as an heir claiming their inheritance. Father, I am here. I stand in your presence, aware that heaven moves both around and within me. I release every fear, every label, every shadow that told me I was less than what you designed. I open my hands to receive what you have already written in my name. Let every promise you whispered find its way home tonight. Let every delay dissolve under your perfect timing. Let every wound become oil for the path ahead. I say yes to the call, to the cost, to the crown. Seal me now in your presence. Not my will, but yours. Not my plan, but your pattern. Not my time, but your rhythm. Lo, as those words leave your lips, something shifts. The air thickens. Peace floods the atmosphere. This isn't imagination, it's confirmation. The gates of heaven open wider, and light pure, living, indescribable flows through the cracks of your humanity, filling every space once occupied by fear. You have crossed from waiting into walking. From seeking to carrying, heaven whispers, "It is done." From this night forward, you are to move differently, speak differently, think differently. You have been sealed, marked, and commissioned. The heavens no longer move around you, they move through you. When the clock reaches 11:11, lift your eyes and simply whisper, "I'm ready." For that is the moment the covenant completes itself. You are no longer waiting for the miracle, you have become it. Tonight will be remembered as the hour heaven wrote your name in light.